Paul Rogers is the co-founder of the Happiness Roundtable and Planet Happiness, two projects of the Happiness Alliance. Hear him speak now about tourism, well-being, wildlife conservation, all of this in the face of COVID-19.
2 years ago, Laura and I had our first online conversation, and it was from that conversation that Planet Happiness came to fruition. In the conversation that we had, Laura was asking me what I thought would be the future of the happiness movement. And I mentioned that when I walk up my street, if I was to walk up my street here in Australia and ask people what G&H stood for, nobody would really have much of an idea. Maybe the odd one or two households, and that would be it in the entire street. And if we have 7 billion people on the planet, we're not really going to achieve the objectives of the happiness movement until at least one of those 7 billion are aware of what G&H is and have a basic understanding of well-being. And people get that basic understanding of what well-being is and how to measure it, and a further understanding from taking the Happiness Index survey. It was around that time that we first started to have over a billion visitor movements across international borders a year. So it was then that sort of idea of trying to use the tourism sector to raise international awareness of the happiness agenda sort of started to take shape. Through the Planet Happiness approach, what we've done is tried to select destinations, engage the residents to measure their individual happiness and therefore the community happiness. And our primary target audience, therefore, are the residents. This is where we're trying to make inroads at the moment. But as has been acknowledged in the conversation today, you know, inbound and outbound tour operators are two big groups, and we have had tour operators approaching us, loving what we're about and wanting to engage. But until we have these community scorecards, until we have the results written, until we have the communities identifying where they want to put their efforts into activities to raise the deficient scores, if you like, of the survey, it's difficult to engage the tour operators. And similarly, once those interventions are designed, then I'm sure there will be activities that will involve tourists. Now, if there are there were over a billion visitors moving across international borders, we've talked earlier in the conversation today about eco-tourists. Some people prefer the experiential tourists. There is regular writings in the literature about tourists wanting to be more discerning and give back to the communities. There's voluntourism. So for my vision, I've always had this belief that if we have communities that are calling for actions to be implemented, whatever it may be, those activities can be posted, promoted, and then you can connect tourists with skill sets, proven skill sets, experienced travelers to those destinations to work with local communities. You're creating a win-win between the different groups. And I think that it's very clear that from COVID, it's going to take an awful long time for the tourism industry to bounce back. Domestic tourism will start first. People talk about business tourism starting to take off after that, but people wanting to travel long haul, I don't think you're going to get too much in the way of the multi-destination visits. People are going to stay in one location longer for a richer, more rewarding tourism experience. And so, yeah, my vision would be to create a Planet Happiness platform that allows the tourists to think about types of experiences they want to engage in and match those visitors with the different destinations. So that's my little statement here for this evening.